DeAndre Swift is easily one of my favorite running backs to draft in 2022. He definitely has the RB1 upside. And no, that's not a hot take. This is a running back that has had over 106 career receptions over the last 2 seasons. The biggest question mark is, can he stay healthy? And what is the additions of these other offensive weapons? And we're going to talk about all that and more right now. Welcome back in. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So DeAndre Swift in 2021, let's start there. He handled 67% of the snaps, 57% of the opportunities. He had 11.6 carries per game, 6 targets per game. He had 617 rushing yards, 452 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns, which is good for 16.1 fantasy points per game, which was 8th most among all running backs last year. He also had a 18.4% target share, which was 2nd most among all running backs. He was also 5th in routes run and 2nd in route participation. Now, in terms of some efficiency metric, he was 16th in yards per route run, 14th in breakaway run rate, but he was 1st in yards created per touch. Now, when we talk about DeAndre Swift in 2022, I think some things we've heard about DeAndre Swift so far this year has kind of been how is he going to fit in now with all these other these pass catchers they have. Obviously, the emergence of Amon-Ra St. Brown last year over the second half of the season. TJ Hockenson obviously still being here, and then the additions of DJ Chark and Jameson Williams. How does all this factor in for DeAndre Swift? Does he see a significant loss in targets? And I'm going to say no. Jared Goff has always targeted his running backs at a pretty high clip. No, last year was no different. He targeted his running backs last year at the 3rd highest rate at 24.8% of the time. And I think that's just good news for DeAndre Swift. Like I said, DeAndre Swift played 13 games last year and had 78 targets. It's not crazy to think that he could surpass 100 targets this season. Now, is that likely with the additions they've made? Probably not. But I still think him coming in at the 80, 85 mark, 90, I think is within the range of possibilities for him this year. And that's what makes him so damn intriguing at his current ADP. It's hard to find a running back with this kind of pass catching upside, but could also probably see a bump in terms of touches as well. I think him coming in and getting 18 to 20 touches this year is definitely the range of possibility with an improved offense, I might add, which should give him more goal line, more touchdown upside as well. Now, some other things to factor in here is this offensive line. This offensive line last year, their starting group last year never played a single snap together last year. Before the season started, Taylor Decker suffered a finger injury, which cost him the first 8 games of the season. That caused Penei Sewell, which their high draft pick last year in the first round, had to move from right tackle to left tackle. And then in week 4, Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in all of football, suffered a season-ending turf toe injury. And then but we did see somebody like Jonah Jackson take a step forward last year, end up being a Pro Bowler, on this offensive line. And then they also made an improvement at going out and adding Vaitai from the Eagles this past year as well. So this offensive line as a whole should be much better than it was last year because of the injuries that it suffered last year. So this offensive line is healthy. That is just another feather in DeAndre Swift's cap. So with that all being said, I think the only other question is Dan Campbell, right? Because early on last year, it was Anthony Lynn calling plays last year, but when Dan Campbell took over, some things kind of changed here in this offense, right? So if you look, through the first 8 weeks of the season, the Lions were the 2nd heaviest run team in the league. But in weeks 9 through 18, we saw when Campbell was calling more plays, that dropped to 12th. Now, that is not that big of a concern to me. But what I will say is in the first 2 games that Dan Campbell called plays, we saw DeAndre Swift get 33 carries for 130 yards against Pittsburgh. And then he also had 14 carries for 136 yards and a touchdown at Cleveland. So he was utilized more as a runner than what he was typically on a per game basis last year. So I think that is some positive news. So overall, when we talk about DeAndre Swift, this is why I love him so much. The immense pass catching ceiling, a great offensive line, an offense that should be improved. Not one that I think you should expect to be like a top 15 offense or anything like that. But I definitely think it could move from the bottom half of the league in terms of scoring offense into that middle of the pack here with the additions they've made. So with all that being said, it's not hard to envision DeAndre Swift being a top 3, top 4 running back this year, but he's going RB8, 13th overall. And so if you can get him at the back half of the first round, that is a slam dunk at where he's going because of everything else he's providing you. So I am drafting DeAndre Swift with absolute confidence. I have him already ranked as a top 5 running back. You should have the same confidence in him as well. I'm not all that concerned about the injuries. Yes, he's only played 13 games each of the past 2 seasons, but we're not worried about that. So let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of DeAndre Swift? Are you drafting him? Where are you looking to take him? What's your thoughts on him this year in this offense? Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for future content. We will see you on the next one. Bye.